Hello everybody, good afternoon. My name is Pip Todman and we are going to be looking at watercolouring. Woohoo! Yes we are. I need to put my lights on. Oh, I've got my lights on. There we go, that's a bit better. Watercolouring, yay! That's a bit better, we can see a bit better now. So we're going to be looking at some watercolouring today, quick and easy watercolouring to help you get going. So my name is Pip Todman and I run queenpipcards.com and also Card Making Know-How, which is my membership where I can teach you how to make cards in 4 easy stages to go from beginner to confident card maker and everything in between. So hello everybody. Hi Melly, good afternoon. Happy Monday from rainy Italy. Oh, it's actually really sunny here for some reason. I don't know why it's so sunny, but it is. So we'll just let everybody get on for a moment. Please do chat, say hello. Hi Trisha. Come on and say hi in the chat, and you know that if you want to ask me a question, you can super chat it. You can do stickers and all that kind of stuff. So watercolouring. But before we do watercolouring, let me just give you a quick sneak peek at just a couple of cards we did at the weekend. We had my in-person retreat at the weekend and we used the fantastic stamp set, in fact bundle. We used this one, the Hooray for Surprises stamp set, which was great, and the dies that go with it. They're interactive, so that's a bit of fun. But yeah, so here's a couple of cards we made. This is just from our stamper stack. We just, this is 3. We had, overall we had, I guess 12 designs plus 2 extra on show. So 14 possible designs that they could, use and have a go at. And everybody seemed to have a good time. Hi Jane, hi Angela. So yeah, it was a great Saturday, and if you are looking for an in-person retreat, then you can look no further than me here in the UK at Farnborough in Hampshire. So all the details are on my website. So let's start going with hands down. Hi Jane, it was lovely to see both Janes, lovely to see both of you on Saturday. So I'm going to go down here, put my lights on. Okay. Put this light on. There we go. So let us chat about all things watercolour. So this is the one I've just shown you. This uses a new stamp set called Magnolia Mood, and it's a good stamp set if you're going to do no line watercolouring. It's a rubbish stamp set if you're going to do one of the techniques I'm going to show you today. So I'm going to show you a couple of things that you can do. So no line watercolouring works okay, but it takes a long time, so I'm not going to actually show you that today. Just stamping it looks great just on its own. How clean is that looking? But can you see on here the amount of shading? So can you see how dark we've got here on the leaves and how much shading we've got in the centre, etc.? So this means that it's actually quite tricky to do one of the techniques for no line water, for resist watercolouring. Okay, so I'm going to do that with a different stamp set, but I'm going to show you what I like to call my dry watercolouring. Okay, because this is, anybody can do this. I feel it's really easy. So you're going to need a block, just a spare block. Okay. And you're going to need some colours. So I'm going to go Magnolia. I decided Petal Pink is a good colour for a Magnolia, I feel. So I've inked it all up in Mossy Meadow, because the colour of the Magnolia leaves that rich green is definitely a Mossy Meadow in my view. And I've then, if you see that's gone a bit pinky, I've put the ink from a Petal Pink ink pad onto that, and I've got here my water brush, but can you see it's really dry? I don't know if that's showing up, but it's just there's a tiny glisten, but nothing much. Okay. Hi Julie from sunny Scotland. Nice that it's sunny up there for you. Lindsay says, sorry I'm late, lost track at making a Mother's Day card. That's all right, it is indeed coming up. So I've got a very small amount of ink on my of water on my brush. I'm not squeezing it, not letting any other colour come through, and I'm using two little blocks here. So one is my ink pad and this one's sort of my mixing pad. Okay, and I'm just picking up the smallest amounts. You can see that I've got some on there. Let's go a bit closer. Okay, let's go down here a bit. So you can see I've got some on there because the end of my brush has gone pink. Can you see that? But that's the only really the only way you would know. So it's dry. Just check it is still dry. And we're just going to add that pink to the back of this, which is already stamped in Mossy Meadow. Now you have to be dry and you have to be quick, because if you add any extra water, because this is a water-based ink, it will it'll pick up that that green. Okay, so you have to be fairly rapid with this. I told you this is, you know, just quick and easy watercolouring. This is really almost painting rather than watercolouring, but it has the same sort of effect in that you're just painting a little bit of colour into that. But you can see it's starting to go, it's starting to merge the ink, so you have to be quick and you have to be dry. So we'll just add a bit more colour in here, but it's a good way of just adding a little bit of colour. When you don't want a lot and you're scared of water, then my suggestion is don't use very much, just use a tiny amount, really just what's enough in the ink to get it going. And then we can make this one a bit darker here. Now, because this is on ordinary white cardstock, I'm not even using watercolour cardstock, this is not going to blend, okay? So if you want it to blend or you want to do fancy stuff, then you're going to need my next technique that I'm going to show you. I just wanted to show you what you can do, even if you haven't got any fancy watercolour paper. Just with a little bit of ink, you can, and just a smidge, the smidgiest of smidge of pink, of water, to just activate that ink a little. You can do a kind of a starter for 10 watercolour, okay? And we're pretty much done. So you can come on and do the same in the back here. So you're just painting basically at this point. And we get that one a bit darker. There we go, lighter. And you have to control the amount of ink that you put down and the amount of water, so don't do too much. Okay, there we go. So that's a really quick and easy, plain old watercolor type effect. Okay, so it just softens it slightly. If you want to, because you've got some water in the end of your brush there, you can start to merge these as well. And what that will do is it will pick up the green that's already there, and it will just activate the green and bring it around the rest of the leaf. Okay, so that is really subtle activation of ink with a smidgy of water. All right, now on the leaves, obviously we didn't have to add any colour because the leaves already had that green there, but obviously for the flower we had to add the pink. And it doesn't, you can't hide the green that you've stamped, okay? The green is green and it's stamped, so it's always going to be there. But just by adding the pink, you can make it look a little bit more like a pink flower, okay? So that is a what I call my dry watercolouring technique, which is, I guess, some people might not say it's watercolouring, but to me it is, because you're still using water. It's just a very small amount, okay? So that's that one. I've done another one here with more pink, and I didn't do the green on this, so you can see the difference between those two. Okay, oops, no, maybe not. There we go. Now you can. Well, it looks kind of botanical. I actually prefer this one with the leaves, so I might just do the leaves again on this one. And again, you can go back however long it's been there, because the ink is still water-based ink. So if you add water, it'll always run. Okay. Now, if you wanted to do it pure watercolouring, you would need to either heat emboss, or you would need to stamp with a water-resistant ink like StazOn. okay? But can you see how detailed this stamp is? You saw how many lines there were. Those lines will come out if you stamp with black. So if you stamp it with black, most of your stamp will be black. It will look black. And so there's not actually that much to do in terms of watercolouring. So no line is the other option that you can go with, which are these two, okay, which I talk about in my membership. So if you want the tutorials for no line watercolouring, come and have a look at my membership, because it just takes too long. I'm not going to have a chance to do that today. If you want to do another option, okay, this is a different option that you could use kind of with no line watercolouring as well. You're going to pick up the colour that you've stamped very faintly, okay, in the green here, and you're just, again, soft bit of water, tiny amount, nothing major. We'll just put this on for the minute, okay, and then what you can do, and this is what I call cheating, but it works, so what the heck, okay, so you've got one in green, and then you've got one in pink, and I'm just going to cut out the one in pink. Now there are dies that come with this, but you can also just cut around. So like say we just take this one off here, and you can just decoupage them up. Okay, now I would go close to the flower, and then you can always do some watercolouring on this. Okay, so we'll do a bit of that in a second. But I'm just going to show you what I mean by cheating, because you don't really want green flowers most of the time. Okay, so I'm going to just come around there, cut around that. And then what I would do is I would then add that one on top of that one. Okay, so now you've got pink flowers on top of with your green leaves. Okay, and then you can go back in, you can darken the leaves, you can do all the detail with your no line watercolouring. And then you would end up with something that looked a bit more like this, except that that would all be in pink. Okay, so it would look a bit more. And if you actually use the dies to cut these out, then when you attach them, you'd be having something that looked a little bit more like this. Okay, but this, see here, this could be green. This should be green because it's a stem. All right, but we've done no line watercolouring on pink, so that's how that ends up. So you could just attach that on top of that. Okay, so I know it's cheating, but it works. Okay, and everyone's like, oh, but that's cheating. It's like, yeah, but it works. So, you know, go with what works. The other thing you can do is you can use embossing, but again, and that's what we're going to do next. This image does not lend itself very well to embossing because there's so much detail in it that when you do all of the stamping with the embossing, it just comes out as embossed. Okay, so here is one, because, you know, I try these things so that you don't have to. Where's it gone? There it is. Okay, so this is one with clear embossing. Okay, see there's not much of a flower left to show. And this is one with white embossing. There's even less of a flower to show. So you've got the white, but then when you put the colour on, it's all white and there's hardly any space for any of the leaves to be green. Okay, so I wanted to try that because I love the set, but I wanted to see how it would work with all the different types. So that didn't work out so well. I like to show you both the good, the bad and the ugly here. So what I would recommend is you're either going to do this dry watercolouring, or you're going to go with no line watercolouring like this. Okay, that's my recommendation for that particular stamp. However, we've got another stamp which is floral, which is this one, Irresistible Blooms. And although this has some solid lines on it, it also has a much more gappy. It's got loads more gaps in it. So I thought, right, let's give this a chance for some what I call resist watercolouring. Okay, so this one, I'm going to go a bit bolder with my colouring because this one's not a magnolia, so it doesn't need to be doesn't need to be petal pink or something really pale. So I've pulled out my Melon Mambo, obviously. Again, I'm putting some Melon Mambo on a block, like so. You don't need masses, just need enough to get going. And I'm using my aqua painters, but you'll notice I don't often use them very wet. I'm going to wet this one slightly more, so you just squeeze it gently. And these aqua painters have got a lock on them, so they actually don't squeeze through very well, I find. So normally I use a pot of water, but I know that if I do that on camera, the chances are it's going to go everywhere. So, so I thought, no, we will stick to the brush. So I just undo mine slightly and let it out a little bit. There are other ones around that I think work better, I'm going to be honest. Take some of that off, so I don't want a lot of water. Okay, so now that's wet, and you can see if I brush that on my skin, that's much wetter. Okay, much wetter. You see that? Hopefully you can see that. All right, so for these, we're going to start with a wash. So we're going to start with just water on your block. Let me put that somewhere it's not shining. There we go. I might have to go back out a bit. Okay, wrong way. There we go. Right. So we're going to start with that on my brush with the water. Okay. And we're going to take one of my heat embossed things. This has got rubbish on from my... Sorry, I'm just going to take these little black bits off because they're stuck on from my cut emboss. Okay, we had a lot of use over the weekend. Okay, so we're going to wash over. So we're going to start and we're going to wash. This is going to need a bit more water. Now this is using watercolor card. Okay, I should have left a bit more on there. The other way of doing it is just to undo it and literally dab it out like that. So this, here we go. This is just like a wash over. So we're just washing it on. And because this is watercolor card, you can give it quite a lot of water. Okay. So we're going to go up to the edges. And you're like, Pip, there's nothing there. But there is. So now we're just going to add a little bit darker. I'm going to go from the middle and see, because we've resist embossed this, you can actually go all over it, and the white is just staying there because that's the embossing. So it makes your watercolouring so much easier. Okay, so I've got a nice colour that I want now. Now I'm looking at adding a little bit of depth. So I'm going to go over again from the centre. Now I'm adding more colour, less water. Okay, but because the water's there behind the scenes, it will start to blend and merge. Okay, so you can then start to really make some much more watercolory kind of looking. That's I think that's probably not a term, Pip, watercolory, but you know what I mean. It looks more like watercolour, just because you're adding onto already water-soaked cardstock. Okay, and it'll just start to bleed out like we would for watercolouring. Okay, this needs to be a little darker at the back here. There we go. Okay, and the good thing is that then your actual embossed piece, like the piece that's got the white on it, if you just dab it, the ink comes off the resist piece, comes off that white and leaves it nice and crisp white. And there we go. Have I frozen? Oh, Rosalind's got carried away and forgot the time. Linda's from Texas. Hello, just woken up. Wow, that is early. You're going to be early over there. Okay, so does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. So we're going to do the same with the other two, so we can you can see the technique again. So I've embossed it with white. I'm adding my water from my pen to my block. I'm starting off with a lot of water and getting rid of the bits from my cut and emboss that have been squished into the paper. Get rid of those. Okay. And we're starting in the middle and we're going to work our way out. Again, just gently. If you go over the edge, it doesn't actually matter because it's like cream with white. It's not going to, no one's going to go, oh, she's gone over the edge of that flower, because it's not going to be that obvious, right? So don't panic about that. Then we're going to go back in a little bit darker, building it up, but still just swishing around. Okay. Then we go back in with more colour. And now we're starting to build this up from the centre. Okay. And then in the back, just dabbing it, and it'll just run out through the back where the water's already been. And we'll just start to bleed through. See, I told you it was easy watercolouring. Easy watercolouring. Anybody can do this. You just need some water and a paintbrush, some watercolour paper, has to be a watercolour card. Sorry, Jane, I did have my pink there. Why is it coming out pink before you go to the ink? It wasn't coming out pink before you went to the ink. I had a little bit of ink. I had a little bit of pink in my water before I started. Sorry, Jane, I moved my block out the way so you couldn't see me pick that up. So you need watercolour card. You need white emboss powder, Versamark, so that you can do your embossing bit. Let's just really deepen that down if we want to in the centre there. And then you just emboss the image in white onto your watercolour cardstock, and then you get going. Okay, and again we're going to use our little thingy, take it off the white piece. There we go. Whoops. And there you have it. Now that will lighten it slightly because it'll also take some of the ink off maybe that's still sitting on the surface. So if you want to darken it up again, you can go back in and do a bit more ink in there just to darken that up. It's entirely up to you how much ink you decide to put on. That's the good thing. My recommendation with watercolour is always less is more to start off with. Okay, so this has still got pink on it from the last two flowers, and there's some pink still left on that little bit of water. Okay, so that's what I start off with, Jane, to get the pale colour underneath. Okay, and you know, pink is quite a strong colour, so any part of it will show up. But we'll start off really pale like that, but just add lots of that on, so we're really soaking the card. Then we start off with the next darker bit, so a little bit more colour. And we'll go around here, build up the colour, and then we're going to need to go around the back here and build up some of these. And here, but I don't want to build up right round the front because I quite like that to be light. But then we're going in with some real dark in that centre piece there. So you can always add more colour, but you can't really take it away. You can take it away a tiny amount by using a paper towel and just dabbing it on, and whilst it's wet it will take out a little bit. But you're not going to go back to cream. You know, it's not going to go back to uncoloured, especially when you're using an ink as dark as this pink. So my recommendation with all things watercolouring is less is more. Start off with the least amount of colour that you want, and then gradually build it up really slowly. Okay. And then you'll you'll get to where you want to be. Okay, let me just add a little touch more just down there. Not much. There we go. Now you do need to wash your paintbrush, especially if you've used Melon Mambo, because Melon Mambo will stain. It's one of the pinky reds, so it's going to stain. I use a paper towel on that to just get rid of that bit on there. And now what we're going to do is we're going to change our thought process and look at the leaves. Okay, so we're going to get rid of the pink on there. You can still see a little bit of pink. This is going to need washing. That's the word I'm looking for. Okay, so here we go. So see how pink that is? We're going to need to rinse that through. Now what I'm going to do on the back of the card, like behind the flowers, as I'm building it up, is we're going to add just a little bit of stamping, but not masses of watercolouring, okay? Because I want these to be the sort of centre of attention. Okay, there we go. All right, so what I've done is I've cut myself some watercolour cardstock. I can tell it's watercolour because it's thicker and it has like a grain to it. So I don't know if you can see, if I come up really close, can you see that grain in the shadow there? So that's the grain of the watercolour. If you want to know more about paper types and why watercolour cardstock is the way it is, come and join us in the membership. That tells you everything you need to know about watercolour. Now I want to have these flowers sort of scattered on my card like so. In fact, I'm going to turn it sideways. I want them like so, I think. So they sort of overlap each other. Two little ones and then big one there. There we go. Like that. But I do want to have some foliage behind. I'll do that way maybe. I don't want to do this. No, I think that works best. So I want to have some foliage behind. So I've got the leaves that come with this set, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stamp them onto my watercolour cardstock, and then we'll place the flowers around it. Okay, so that's going to go there. It's going to come in somewhere about there-ish. I'm going to need a piece of paper to go behind. So we'll just do this. And I'm going to use Mossy Meadow again because it's a lovely green. I think it's nice. Okay. So we will ink this up. And then because this is watercolour paper, it takes a little bit longer to get an impression, and it will never be as crisp as a non-watercolour paper card because it is that texture. Okay, because it's textured paper, you can see that it's not going to give you that crispness that you get from non-watercolour paper. Put that there, put that there. One can come under there slightly. I like that one there, that one there, that one there. I'll put this one here, so I might just do a couple of leaves coming down under here. So position, move, position back again, and then I'll put these two coming up, I reckon, about there-ish. Okay, there we go. We don't need to worry about that little whoopsie because it's going to be hidden by the flower, so that's good. Now, if you want to, and you want to make it a little bit more solid, then you can, of course, go over with your paintbrush because it is still wet, and you can do that sort of, again, almost dry watercolouring just to bring those speckledy bits together. And it is just because it's sitting on watercolour card, and so you have to get down into the little ridges to get that showing through. And showing a bit more solid. So we'll just do that. If you wanted to, you could even, colour all the leaves in I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to do this bit of sort of dry watercolouring. Just to get those bits in. Just makes them look a little bit darker and a bit more solid. You know what I mean? And I think it also brings out the brightness in the ink. If you add a bit more water to it, it goes somehow a little more translucent-y. Just a nicer, brighter colour. I think it's just looks lovely. This this mossy meadow. Now that's been. You see that? I don't know if it shows very well on your camera, but it looks much nicer to me on my camera. Okay, wipe that off. So now we're going to start our layering up. So this I'm putting onto some mossy meadow cardstock. So put these on, like so. And I've left it with quite a large border so that we can really pick that nice green colour up. Needs to soak in a little bit more when it's watercolour card. Does need to have just a little bit more soak time. Hey, what stamp set am I using? Oh, hang on, we've got loads of questions coming in. Right, okay. So I'm using Irresistible Blooms, Jeanette. So this is the one I'm using for this. And for the other ones, I used Magnolia Mood, which is a new stamp set, came out today. It's available from today. Elaine, you're late. That's fine. You're allowed. Oh, you like my flowers. Thank you very much. Thank you, honey. Okay, so I'm going to start with the bigger one. And because they're thicker, you can sort of give them a bit of a curl. So we'll do that. And get some dimensions. Oh, I need a new packet of dimensionals. Now you can see I've stamped on the back of this because I was going to do another one and it didn't stamp very well. I didn't like the colour of it, so I thought, no, I'm not going to do that one. So waste not, want not, doesn't matter. It won't come through the other side. Oh, a dimensional that had its top come off. That's strange. Okay, so we'll put these ones down the middle. Like so. And I'm actually not going to do anything on the other sides, because I don't mind if they get squished, because it's going to look a little bit more natural. You know what I mean? So this one's going to sit here, like so. And then we're going to pop these ones underneath, here and here. All right. So, again, I'm curling them. I don't want to curl them up this way, so, well, you can a little bit. For the ones on the outside, you could a little bit, but you don't want to do it too much because you can't, there's nothing underneath for people to see, if you know what I mean. So don't go too wild with your curling up, unless you're using something like vellum, which has got colour on both sides. It's a bit sad really, because there's nothing on the other side of it to show off. Okay, so we'll tuck that one underneath there, but still have it lifted like so. This one, I might, yeah, now I'm going to lift this one as well. I'm going to do a bit both that way and a bit this way. Now I should really let it dry before I start manhandling it with my fingers, because that can make it go a little bit dirty if you've got dirty fingers, but luckily I think mine's turned out okay. So we'll pop that one in there like that. And I like the idea of having it just overhanging that edge slightly, like so. And then I'm going to put all of that onto a very vanilla base, and then we'll do something with some words here. Will watercolour paper take Wink of Stella? Yes, it will, Angela. That's a very good question. So, will watercolour paper take Wink of Stella? Yeah, it's a water-based solution, so yeah, it will take it. It will work exactly the same as a paintbrush will. So it will agitate the ink underneath. Okay, so it will add It would be like if you put your watercolor, your Winkler into ink and then started painting with it. It would do the same kind of thing. All right. So, and Winkler is another way of painting with colour, right? You could do that, but again, it will still agitate the colours underneath because it has that water-based base to it. Okay, so now let's just have a look. Let's just do a little hello. Like a little hello. I've got another hello in here. Well, that's a big hello, isn't it? I've got a big hello, but that's like really big. No, that's too big. I've got a little problem is these are all white, and I don't really want a white label on a cream background. Don't like that. Don't like that. And I know you can, and I know people are okay with it, but I prefer vanilla on vanilla. So just reaching over to get a strip. So I'm going to get a strip of vanilla for this. Where are we? Here we go. Like so. Yes, so as Elaine says, it'll work the same as if you'd put water on it. It was just sparkly water, not normal water. That's the only thing with Winkler, which is, you know, if that's what you want, that's great. That's fine. I'm going to use Melon Mambo just to bring a bit of pink out here. I do find though that sometimes with the solution of Winkler, because it's got mica in it, so it's glittery. You don't get as clean a colour as you would with just water. So there is that to just think about, because it's silvery. So just have a think about that. If you want that, that's fine. But if you don't, then just remember that. Okay, so now I'm going to chop the end off of that. I'm going to clear up these. Love my little Hoover. Best thing. Chop this, and I'm not making it any particular size, I'm just cutting it down so that it will work with my stamp. Okay, trimming it to that size because that works. Okay, and I actually don't want to lift that up. I'm happy for that to be down, but I'm going to use the trick that I showed you the other week. I showed you some I can't remember what it was. Oh, labels, how to do sentiments and how to do labels and stuff to add stuff. So we're just going to tap in the edge of this in the green, so then it has the same dark outline as the rest of the card, and then we will just glue that into place. So that is going to go just up there. I like hello cards like this. Just hello. There we go. So that was quick. Told you it'd be quick. 40 minutes, and we've done 2 different types of watercolouring. So let's just bring back in the other ones. So this is resist embossing. Okay, so basically you emboss it in the white powder using Versamark. So you can see how shiny that is. So you get an added bonus of shine, which is nice. And then it's on watercolour cardstock so that you can do that watercolouring with the inks underneath. This one is dry watercolouring, okay, where you're adding colour just with a very dry, just slightly damp paintbrush, okay. And here's that other one I did with that as well. So this one has just had the leaves done and the petals done. Such a gorgeous stamp, that one, the magnolia. Let's go back out again. Okay. And then I have 2 which I've done with no line watercolouring. So that's where you use a lot more time and effort and start off small and work your way through. So, you know, different ways. These ones you can find in the membership. These ones I've just shown you, so you know. Thank you very much. Marcy says that's stunning. That's very kind. Hopefully you've enjoyed that. So if you want to join the membership and find out more about how to do all the different types of watercolouring, and also all the ways in which water and ink react with each other, and therefore how to get better results with all of your watercolouring, then please do join the Card Making Know How membership. We have a fantastic group of ladies who are all ladies at the moment, but that doesn't mean to say that you can't join if you're a man, because you can if you want to. And we get together every month and we craft together over Zoom. You can ask me questions in Ask Queen Pip. But also there's an abundance of masterclasses going on. This month we're doing scene building, and lots of great things. So hopefully you will enjoy that if you are a member, and if you're not a member, you might want to think about becoming a member. Alrighty, so that's that's pretty much it from me. I think I've covered everything I wanted to cover in that. So you've got your dry watercolouring, and then your resist watercolouring. And I have to say, I love how this one's come out. It's very nice. And I do like the dry watercolouring as well. So if you want to see these, these are all in online exclusive, Irresistible Blooms, and the new Moody Magnolia Mood. Both of them have die sets that go with them. So they're both available. If you want to shop with me, you can. If I come back down here, I can tell you, whoops, where am I? There we go. So if you want to go and look at the store just for those products, you can do that on my store. But otherwise, yeah, come and see us. We'd love you to join the membership. It's so much fun. And we have so many amazing masterclasses in there. I think we're up to, I want to say we're about 35 to 36 masterclasses, which means that's 35 to 36 courses, mini courses, all about card making, plus additional lessons and all my videos as well. So hopefully you will come and join us. If it's not for you, that's fine. You can come along for a month and give it a try, and then cancel after a month if you want to. It's entirely up to you. So thank you very much. I'm very glad you like it. Lindsay says loving all the subtle variations. Thank you. Elaine liked the white on white. These ones, yeah, they're just beautiful, aren't they? Really gorgeous. And even just stamped with one colour, this stamp set looks great. Jane says nice selection. Thanks. Pip says Ros, great demo and fab results, says Rosalind. Thank you very much. Dry watercolouring gorgeous, says Elaine. Thank you. And great demo as always, says Jeanette. Thank you so much, ladies. I'm very glad that you came and were hanging around with me today. So thanks ever so much. I hope it's all made sense. If not, you can always replay, so that's good. And tell all your friends if you think they might want to be interested in watercolouring, they can come over and have a chat, come over and have a look and a watch as well. And I will be back same place, same time next week. Yes, next week I will be back. Then I'm off for a week because I'm going on to Stampin' Up's online Stampin' Up's on stage convention. But yes, I will be here next week. So next week, I've no idea what we're doing next week. We'll do some fun stuff. These would look great as Mother's Day cards, don't you think? Just add Happy Mother's Day to them and they would look fab. So if you're still looking for an idea for Mother's Day, then you can just grab one of these and go with it. Thanks, Ange. Thanks, Jane. And I will see you all next week. Have a lovely crafty week. And I'll see you again soon. Take care for now. Bye-bye.